Walsh had quite the breakdown when it came to the codification of gay marriage that was passed by the Senate. And so what you're going to see here is he's going to go absolutely crazy, and he's going to do what I like to call a Republican clear tactic, a smear and fear tactic, where you basically smear an issue or a person, and then you use that like smear to create fear. So typically that smear is created in a way that's a lie about someone or something that's going to promote fear. So let's check out his smear and fear. And like, this guy's a radical, man. It's crazy. Let's check this out.
Obviously, if you do this, it is to begin with, it's not just this, but it is also to begin with a threat to an attack on religious liberty.
Again, see, fear. We see fear. He's trying to put in fear, and he's smearing it too, but you're going to see the smear coming in.
That's where it ultimately leads.
Oh, there it is. That's where it ultimately leads. That's where it ultimately. So be afraid. Be afraid, religious liberty. Oh my gosh, watch out.
Because if you're codifying on a federal level,
Codifying
that two men have a right to get married, that's a human right, a civil right, then that would mean...
It's actually technically not even a right. It's like a negative liberty because it says that you can't, I think the statute reads that you can't discriminate based on sex. So technically it's not giving you the right. It's just like a negative liberty kind of thing.
By extension, that a church that refuses to marry a gay couple is depriving them of their basic human civil rights.
No. So there's the smear. There's the smear you can see there. So this is not going to deal with that. This is making it so that legal marriage licenses cannot be discriminated based upon sex. Again, a negative liberty. Technically not even a positive right, because it doesn't say that this gives gay people the right to marry. It just says, this is typical in law, a negative liberty where it says, hey, the government can't discriminate based on sex. I believe that's what the statute read. But again, this will not impact churches and them doing gay marriage ceremonies. But again, you got the smear aspect that leads to fear specifically. So you specifically
human
have like
civil rights. Fear. They may not be putting that language in the bill exactly because they want it to pass.
Smear.
But that's what it means. And that's how it will be used, no matter what the bill says.
Smear and fear.
And I'll tell you this, any Republican who would sign on to a bill like this, I don't care if they have this weak, they've created this Trojan horse now where they're pretending that they're protecting religious liberty. Doesn't matter. Any Republican who would sign on to that should be exiled from the party. It won't happen.
Bonkers.
Because this is the direction the whole party is going.
This is crazy right here, dude. This is insane. Like, this is so extreme. It's not even like crazy. It's crazy.
But that's what should happen. These are Republicans who are signing on to something that only 10 years ago would have been too radically far left for even the farthest left people in the Democrat Party.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's true. I think that it's definitely true that the Democratic Party didn't support gay marriage. 10 years ago was 2012. So, there were definitely people who were supporting gay marriage by that point. So I'm not really sure what he's talking about at all. If you're trying to say like 2007, 2008, you have more of an argument for that, obviously. But even then, people like Bernie Sanders still supported gay marriage. So he's lying there again. He's smearing again to create fear. But even if that were true, let's say I just saw like a poll that says 71% of Americans agree on gay marriage. It's hard to get Americans to agree to 71% on any policy position. That's actually the highest policy agreement I've seen in years. The previous one that I saw was like the biggest was like 60+% for like taxing people making over 400,000. So it's like, this is going to be the new reckoning for the Republican Party because these kinds of people, even we just did a video on Ben Shapiro talking about this. There's so many people in the Republican Party who are against gay marriage, but it's such a woefully popular position that people agree on. And the danger for the Republican Party is going to be if you oppose it, well, now you're going to sacrifice your base of people like Matt Walsh and other, really bigoted lunatics. But it's going to be at the cost of like potentially, because it's 70%, that means some Republicans must agree with it too, and independents. Then you're going to have to sacrifice independents and maybe some Republicans if you are to, be against it. But then if you support it, then you sacrifice your base. So this is going to be the big thing. And I think what they're going to end up trying to do is trying not to even like come in on the issue. Like since the it's going to be hard because of stuff like this. But when the Constitution says that it's, a federal right, like you don't have to do anything as Congress. If let's say Obergefell's revisited like Clarence Thomas wants, it's not going to end up like this federal statute will just get shut down too. Because okay, well the federal government doesn't have the power to give a right to same-sex marriage. Like what power does it have to do that? They don't really have anything. What like the Commerce Clause? Like what are they going to say? I don't think they really have one. But anyways, it's really crazy like how radical he is. He's saying that any Republican who says that should be thrown out of office, which is it's just fucking bonkers. But even he seems to say that, the Republican Party is going in that direction, which again, if the Republican Party is going in that direction, and then this guy's saying that they should all be exiled for it, think about how like extreme this is. But more smear and fair taxes. But this guy seems to be like really, really extreme to the point where I just have to wonder like where does the motivation for this come from? What is going on with Matt Walsh in which he would hate gay people so much, trans people so much? Like supposed whatever masculine and feminine. This is the same guy who said that like using emojis is not masculine or something like that. What happened to Matt Walsh? Who is Matt Walsh? What happened to this guy to motivate him this way? Because if you're just a normal person, just going about your day, you're waking up, making breakfast, just chilling, doing your thing, you would never be so motivated to say something like this. Something's got to be going on. Unless it's money, maybe he's a grifter. That would be a potential reason. But honestly, I can't really see it being that. But I think people only started to learn who Matt Walsh is ever since he started taking these really extremist social stances. So maybe it is popularity and money. I'm not really sure. But definitely pretty crazy stuff coming here from Matt Walsh.